So moving on to football. Uh, didn't think we'd be talking about football in May, but there's actually some good stuff coming on, right, Bun?
Indeed, we have. So free agency, great time to get new players to help improve your team every year and during the season too. New updates here on the free agency field. We have Julian Edelman. He got a 2-year deal with 12 million guaranteed and an $8 million signing bonus. And also, about an hour ago, around 2:30, we have Ndamukong Suh. He signed a 1-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He should be replacing Gerald McCoy. And I've got a little funny stat here for you. The Bucks have replaced the third overall pick from 2010 with the second overall pick from 2010. Yes, they're both the same position, and I mean, for the somewhat equally productive. I mean, yes, Sue's a great guy. He could take on double teams easily. But McCoy is right behind him. They're neck and neck in terms of sacks for committed by a defensive tackle. As we know, Sue was picked one spot ahead of Gerald McCoy, and Sue has exactly 1.5 sacks more than McCoy. So I mean, in that draft, there wasn't really much drop off in between the second and third pick. I mean, that's pretty impressive considering they're the same position. They're both, I wouldn't say respected guys in the league because Sue does some interesting things on the field, but they're both good at what they do, great run stoppers. They can get after the quarterback at times, and their production is almost equally the same.
If I had to make a prediction, I would probably say the Browns are going to get him because they traded Emmanuel Ogba earlier this offseason. So I'd really look for the Browns to jump on that. But I mean their D line is top tier right now, and I mean they're just trying to acquire the pieces to make their line just that much more unstoppable.
Right. So we're gonna go from free agency here to training camp. As we know, yesterday Reuben Foster, I believe third-year player out of Alabama, linebacker position, he tore his ACL during OTAs. It's a shame. He's a great player. This was his second chance as he was arrested for off-the-field issues as he was a 49er. I mean, he plays well. He's always been battling injuries through his whole career, but he really plays well. He has a nose for the football. He'll get you 10, 12 tackles a game easily with just a blink of an eye. But it's tough to see that his second chance is coming up short with this injury here. Hopefully he gets a nice and speedy recovery.
Yeah, it seems like it happens every year that somebody just goes down in training camp to an injury like this. You really just don't like to see it. It's something that is awful because he's likely going to be out for the season, and he got a second chance with the Redskins, and you, it's something you just don't like to see because you saw the you saw on like all over ESPN and NFL Network, you saw him getting carted off. The passion in his face, it's just something you just don't like to see.
So, in other news, Chad Kelly got picked up by the Colts. This is his second NFL team after the Broncos drafted him in his draft class, as he was drafted by in the last pick with a Mr. Irrelevant tag put to his name. It's a shame. Kid's a great player, great athlete. He came from Ole Miss. He really lit up the field, but off the field issues always tend to bug NFL players.
Also, a fun fact about Chad Kelly is he's a product of Eastern Mississippi Community College. Last Chance U, if anybody out there watching Last Chance U.
Yes. Other reactions and actions happening in the NFL the past few days is Chris Long announces retirement. This comes after, I guess, a disappointing year after winning the Super Bowl with the Eagles, and then the next year, they don't do as well. He's going out, not the best way, but he's going out on good terms. And Nick has another great player to announce their retirement.
Sebastian Janikowski retires after 19 years of service in the NFL. One of the greatest kickers, in my opinion. This guy's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
He's absolutely automatic, the lefty.
So something that came up the other day. Pro Football Focus had a NFL's top 25 players under 25. It's a list of 25 players in the NFL under the age of 25. They had some quarterbacks, some wide receivers, some running backs. Here are some of the names that some people would expect. Quarterbacks, it's Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson. Wide receiver, Juju Smith. Then the running backs really caught our eye. The running backs, obviously Alvin Kamara. He's a big name that some would expect. Saquon Barkley, who a rookie, still some to improve. Not proven yet. Then Kareem Hunt. Now, this list is supposed to be for people 25 players under the age of 25 for the previous season. So Kareem Hunt played the last season. Kareem Hunt played a total of 11 games. Now, there's some other names out there that are under the age of 20. So Kareem Hunt is 23. There are some other names out there that are under the age of 25 that some people are raising some eyebrows about that aren't on this list. So Kareem Hunt's highlights and awards, he has one Pro Bowl. And he has 1 year in 2017, which is also the year he made the Pro Bowl, that he led the NFL with rushing. So there's other people in the NFL that are under the age of 25 that some people are raising their eyebrows about. So what is your take on that, Justin?
I mean, I know I live on the East Coast, but have they forgot about the West Coast man that pounds the rock like it's nothing? Todd Gurley. This man is unbelievable. And now that in the past season or so, he's catching the ball more and more. I mean, he's a all-purpose back in a sense. I mean, yes, he could run the ball. He'll torch you 130 yards a game easily. But now he's getting in some games where he has 70 or 80 receiving yards, kind of like a David Johnson type. And so Todd Gurley, I mean, he can make the requirements because the only requirement really other than being good is you have to be under 25 because he's 24. I mean, listen to some of these accolades. He is a 3-time Pro Bowl, 2-time first-team All-Pro, and he also made the second-team All-Pro. That was his off year. He was the Offensive Player of the Year in 2017. He's a rushing touchdowns leader the past 2 years. Obviously, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, this man has 56 touchdowns in 3 years of playing. That's pretty remarkable considering... Yes, he was highly touted recruit going to Georgia and highly touted draft as he was drafted in the first round. But, I mean, he's actually producing unlike some other first-round draft picks that, just fall off a cliff. But I believe he deserves that spot because, one, everybody knows about him because he's good, not just because he's a big name and he does the bare minimum, but he actually shows up to work every day, and I mean, many fans just love him because he's a great running back for a pretty good team that at least made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, they didn't show up, but they made it to the Super Bowl this year. Nick, what do you think? Who do you think the running back should be?
I honestly think that Ezekiel Elliott is absolutely getting robbed here. Ezekiel Elliott is a 2-time Pro Bowler. His first year in the league, I take that back. His second year in the league, he makes the Pro Bowl. His second year in the league, he leads in rushing yards. And then last year, he's a Pro Bowler. Last year, he leads in rushing yards, and he played 15 games. Kareem Hunt did not do that. Kareem Hunt did not do that. I can promise you that. Kareem Hunt has 1 Pro Bowl appearance, and he has 1 NFL rushing yards. As he led the NFL once in rushing yards. So, to be honest with you, I think Ezekiel Elliott's getting robbed. He had 1,400 yards rushing last year. He had 6 touchdowns. He had 73 first downs, and he only played 15 games. He didn't play the full season.